were all used to the Moore's law, doubling of power every 18 months, and I mean, that's gone. So do you look at these larger scaling issues as something that will be limiting for what we do as a community?
Well, the honest answer has to be no. But I'll give you the background to that. One of the things that makes me enjoy open source so much personally, I mean, one of them is obviously just the community and being involved and having lots of different people that you communicate with. That's what really keeps me going. But the thing that makes it all practical is that people specialize in what they're interested in. And when I say no, it's because it's not my interest area. So when it comes to things like cloud and Kubernetes or AI, to pick the hot topic of the day, I see myself as a kernel person who wants to support that, but at the same time, I don't see myself as a person who is interested in the end result. So when AI people came in, that was wonderful, because suddenly NVIDIA got much more involved on the kernel side, and NVIDIA went from being on my list of companies who are not good to my list of companies who are doing really good work, right? So AI was great in that respect, but that doesn't mean that I personally end up being interested in the AI side. I end up being interested in what we needed to do in the kernel to support the AI side. And there was a lot of memory management stuff in particular that ended up being done for all these AI loads that want to use accelerators in user space and so on. But at the same time, I still see myself as a core kernel person, and I think it's actually a good thing that people specialize, and you get kind of these blinders. So when people ask me about Linux use in the cloud, I'm like, I know Linux, I don't know cloud.
So thank you for opening the door to the next topic.
Oh no, it's going to be AI, isn't it?
Autocorrect on some words, often mistakenly called artificial intelligence. It is nothing but predicting the next word in a sentence. But as we talked about a couple of times already, there are really interesting use cases for LLMs. And one of the ones that you talked about the last time we had this conversation was code review and making the work of maintainers easier. And I'm curious if you've seen progress there.
I haven't, well, there may be progress happening inside the companies who are doing this work. I have been talking to people who are looking at this and looking at making AI understand kernel code. I am hopeful. I mean, I don't like AI in the sense that it's this horrible hype that everybody talks about, including us here on stage, and it kind of keeps on coming, and at some point you just want to tune it out. But at the same time, I'm hoping that in 5 years, maybe even sooner, we'll be in the situation where we take AI more for granted and we actually have these everyday tools that aren't just writing. I mean, I realize very well that you can use AI today to write JavaScript and Python and things like that. But we're not at the point where AI is yet helping us find bad patterns in the kernel source code, for example. But there are people working on that, and I'm actually very optimistic about it. I think we have a lot of tools to help us. I'm not so much interested in the writing code. I'm much more interested in the finding bugs proactively and doing the code review and helping maintainers and developers write better code. And I think we will get there, but we're not quite there yet.
So since the fourth title of this conference is AI Dev, we have a lot of people here who work on LLMs. What does Linus Torvalds need for an AI tool to do, for an LLM to do, in order to be useful for you as a maintainer?
So what I've been hoping for, and I've been talking to a couple of people that I just knew from before that are working at big companies that I won't name, but who are working on AI, What I'm kind of hoping for is not the traditional LLM that just predicts what you're doing, but something that hopefully takes the kernel source code history and other projects also into account and learns what good patterns, code patterns are. And red flags things that it says, this looks suspicious, because we have a lot of these tools that already red flag things that are fairly obvious bugs. But right now, most of the tools are at the fairly obvious stage. And I think AI can do better. But I also think this is probably something that a lot of people are interested in, but it's probably not commercially the #1 priority for AI companies. So we'll see what happens.
I do think that tooling that is able to look at patches and highlight whether they fit into the way kernel code is written or they don't, that would be not just for us in the Linux community useful, that would be more broadly